I saved the life of a stray dog in India. If I hadn't done it, I would have paid with my own life, just 2 days later. Friends, I am Jane, and I work for a charity that works in the tribal areas of India. This story is based on a true event. Please watch till the end. Please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and press the bell icon, so that you get notification when new stories are uploaded. If you are new to our channel, please also watch all the previous interesting stories already uploaded. Believe me, watching the stories will make your day full of bliss. Also, please follow us on Facebook if you are seeing this on Facebook. If you like the story, give a thumbs up and share the link among your friends. I will read your comments with interest. I traveled from the airport to a remote village in Kalahandi district with 2 colleagues from the local office of the charity. The road led through a forest, and the journey lasted over 10 hours, leaving us exhausted. We decided to stop for the night to continue our drive the next morning. The incident occurred just before dusk, only a kilometer away from our first night's accommodation. We made a quick stop at a small petrol station to refuel, and I also needed to use the restroom urgently. However, the toilet was extremely dirty and had a foul smell, so I had to leave in a hurry. It seemed like it hadn't been cleaned in a long time. My colleague Rina mentioned that we were less than an hour away from our accommodation and reassured me that there would be a clean bathroom there if I could hold on. I had to agree, but on the way, I suddenly felt the urgent need to pee. Rina suggested, "Jane, why don't we stop? We can go behind a bush. It will be clean and safe." I was skeptical about the safety in a forest, but Rina assured me that she had done it many times before and would also accompany me. Vikas, the other staff member, who also happened to be Rina's husband, stopped the car in a secluded spot for some privacy. Initially hesitant about going behind a bush in an unfamiliar forest, I found myself with no other option. Just as I was about to return, a strange noise caught my attention, with Rina by my side. Pausing, I tried to pinpoint the source of the sound. Sensing danger, Rina suggested, "Jane, let's head back to the car. It could be a wild animal." I countered, "Rina, I have a dog at home. I'm certain a dog is in distress somewhere." Rina seemed anxious to leave. "Jane, it might be a dog in trouble or unwell. But I believe it's probably a local stray, not a pet." I glanced around and heard a sound emanating from a nearby pit. I swiftly moved in that direction, with Rina trailing behind me. As I suspected, a stray dog had tumbled into the pit. Peering into the dimming light of dusk, I saw the dog looking back at me, emitting faint but distressing sounds. It seemed like the dog had been stuck there for days, starving and unable to escape from the deep pit. It was clear that he was in desperate need of help, pleading silently for assistance. Although I considered entering the pit to offer aid, I realized it would be a risky move. I needed to ensure my own safety while attempting to rescue him. "Rina, we have to do something," I urged. "Jane, are you crazy? Stray dogs like him are born and die on the streets every day. Nobody looks out for them. Let's just go back," Rina responded. Despite Rina's discouragement, I was resolute in my decision to save the dog. I requested Vikas to drive us back to the petrol pump, the only place in the jungle where we could seek help. The attendant there didn't speak English, so Vikas conversed with him in the local language. He asked if the attendant could accompany us to rescue the dog. Observing his body language, it seemed he was surprised by my determination to save the stray animal. Despite being the only one at the pump with no customers, he explained he couldn't leave even for a minute. I suggested to Vikas that, while the attendant couldn't come with us, he could perhaps call someone from a nearby village to bring a rope and help the dog. However, the attendant mentioned there was no village nearby, and he himself had come from a distance of 50 kilometers. Feeling devastated, we had no choice but to return, knowing the poor dog might not survive. I was aware that I wouldn't be able to sleep the whole night, as I was determined to help the poor dog survive. At one point, I asked Vikas if there was a human trapped in there, would we be doing the same thing? Vikas candidly replied, no. Suddenly, we spotted a UT approaching from the other end, with a ladder on it. Vikas halted the car and signaled for the UT to stop. One of the men came with us, holding a ladder, and in no time, the dog was rescued. I expressed my gratitude to the man for his help, and finally, the dog was alive. But did the story end here? No, in fact, this marked the beginning of the real story. Please stay tuned. The dog was severely malnourished, and unfortunately, we had already finished the last biscuit packet we had. Sensing my compassion, the dog stood close to me, pleading for food. It was clear he had been starving and dehydrated for days, barely able to stand. I offered him water from my bottle. We all came back to the car, but the dog followed us. A cold winter night was approaching in the forest. Rena said, maybe, if we drive slowly, the dog may follow us to the guest house. I said, no Rena, he is too weak to walk that long. Will you mind, I take him with me, on the rear seat? Meanwhile, I gave it a name, Tom. We finally arrived at the guest house. Rena said, during British period, the then government had built lots of guest houses at remote places, so that visiting officers would get easy accommodation while doing official work. This is one such century-old guest houses. These are called dak bungalow. The attendant cum cook must have cooked dinner for us. Are you not hungry, like us? I am, Rena. But Tom badly needs food now. Can you find out, where do we get some dog food? Vikas said, Jane, remote area like these don't have dog food market. Dogs here eat leftover human food. Our Tom has to wait you until we finish our dinner. He will be served any leftover food, including half-eaten bones of the mutton curry. Leftover foods? I wanted to revolt, but this is a foreign country. I am their guest. Okay, for today only, I want to feed him half of my quota of food before we all have dinner. I spent a few days there, with Tom always by my side. He would sleep on the front veranda at night, and became sort of my pet dog. Despite other stray dogs on the street, I was delighted when Tom greeted me at the dak bungalow upon our return from site visits in the afternoon. His loyalty and wagging tail brought me happiness. However, I felt a mix of emotions, knowing that, after I left, he would endure the same harsh reality as hundreds of other street dogs, facing beatings from humans, and struggling to find enough food. The following morning, I set out for my routine walk. The dak bungalow stood in isolation from the nearest village, with an unpaved road leading up to it. My companion, Tom, usually walked with me. At times, he would disappear, and then reappear after a while. The serene beauty of the early morning road was truly breathtaking. As I neared the end of my walk, a peculiar sound caught my attention. Halting in my tracks, I sensed the sound of an animal grinding its teeth. Knowing it couldn't have been Tom, as he was not by my side, I stood still and scanned my surroundings. To my surprise, a pair of eyes peered back at me from within the bushes. I am taking a short break. Download The Pink Mutiny from Amazon before it's no longer free. It's a thrilling novel that will captivate you. The Black Waters is also on sale for a limited time. Find the links in the description box or the first comment. Let's dive into the exciting part now. My heart was pounding in my chest as I acted like I hadn't noticed anything and hurried towards the guest house. Tom wasn't by my side, but given his weakened state, due to malnourishment, there wasn't much he could do. Just 3 days of regular meals wouldn't be enough to strengthen a stray dog. The guest house was just a short distance away, less than 50 feet, visible through the trees. Oh God, please save me. As I approached the Dak bungalow, a leopard suddenly emerged in front of me. Fear gripped me as I imagined it pouncing on me, tearing me apart with its ferocious teeth, or carrying me off to the dense forest as a meal for its family. With no means of escape, my breath grew shallow and my throat parched. Frantically, I cried out for help as the leopard prepared to strike. Just when all seemed lost, a surprising savior emerged from the other side. Tom, the dog, let out a howl and bravely charged towards the leopard. A fierce battle ensued between Tom and the leopard, but to my amazement, the leopard suddenly retreated and disappeared into the woods. Bleeding but triumphant, Tom returned to me, wagging his tail, before laying down on the ground in exhaustion. Both Vikas and Rena emerged from the guest house. I stood there, shocked, sweating, and trembling with fear. Tom, wounded and bleeding, lay on the ground. Tom saved my life. I would have been a victim of a leopard attack. I owe my life to the stray dog, who was begging for his life just days ago, I said, still out of breath with fear. Rena approached me and said, "Thank God you're safe now. Please come inside and rest." Reluctant to leave Tom in his condition, I replied, "No, Rena. Tom is injured. I must tend to him. He may be a stray dog with no owner, but he deserves our care. Could you please find a vet to treat him? He needs urgent attention." The news spread quickly. A stray dog saved a foreigner from a leopard. The story went viral after my interview on local television. Tom, the dog, was treated by a vet and soon recovered. A local businessman adopted him. Tom's life changed for the better. I considered taking him to Australia, but agreed to let the businessman adopt him. What do you think? Share your opinions in the comments. I will read them all with interest.